Where's Lane?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Streakers Eye podcast. I'm very glad the first auditorial thing you heard was, where's Lane? I don't know where Lane went, but I'm sure he will be back. As I see he is coming into the stage right meow. Welcome, everybody, to the Streakers Eye podcast pregame edition. Bless you, Lane. Versus the Edmonton Elks and the Ottawa Redblacks. We also have the Blue Jays playing tonight as well, with Mr. Bieber getting his first start as a Jay, first start since 2024 and the MLB. But this is a really big game for both these teams tonight in the CFL. You have both of these teams have 3 wins, Edmonton 3-6, Ottawa 3-7, especially in Montreal losing again and it not looking like they have a quarterback solution solved. Ottawa's got to be thinking, look, we can maybe catch second in the East.
Is that crazy?
And Edmonton's looking like, look, we still have a chance to make the playoffs. So both these teams are desperate for a win here.
Nuts.
But I'm curious, Lane, I want to start this off with you. Justin Rankin had a huge game last week for Edmonton. You would think that's got to be a main thing that they're thinking about for Ottawa to try to slow him down, no?
Well, for sure, of course, Cody Fajardo's got to use all his weapons, and, Justin Rankin's someone who's having such a big game. And we see, in the CFL, getting that running game going is such a big thing, especially, even in Toronto where the running game has kind of not been there this year. You really need to get your running game going, and, Justin Rankin's good doing it well on not only just the running game, but the receiving. So I got a feeling he's going to be a big part of that playbook tonight to slow down the Ottawa Redblacks for sure.
Well, and you saw it too in Winnipeg last night when all else failed, Brady Oliveira took over. And I think Justin Rankin could actually be that type of player for Edmonton. Justin Rankin now is up to 400 yards, averaging 5.4 yards per carry for Edmonton, right? He has 3 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's as good as Brady Oliveira when I'm saying that, but I'm saying maybe he can be, when all else fails and the offense just isn't rolling, maybe you could just hand it off to Rankin or pitch it to him in the open field and he can make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big thing for Justin Rankin. He's also got some pretty decent receiving numbers, right? He's currently 22nd in CFO for receiving. He's got 427 yards receiving.
It's not nothing to sneeze at for a running back.
Over 800 yards combined, right? Yeah. So, look, that's got to be something that you're feeling pretty darn good about if you're Edmonton, because you know what, you have Rankin is leading all running backs in receiving yards right now.
Wow, that's good on him.
So you have that, plus you have his running game, which he's mid-pack for a running game in the CFL. You got to look at it. His combined yardage is over 800 yards.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Pushing upwards towards 900. It's possible after this week he could have 1,000 combined yards.
Wow. Calling for that big of a game?
I think for Edmonton, I think that's what they're going to want to do, because they're going to want to try to just limit Ottawa's chances, because we've seen it with Dustin Crum, who will be getting the start today for Ottawa. When he gets comfortable, he's actually a good quarterback. I don't feel he's as bad as everyone goes on he is.
He wasn't even bad last week, to be honest.
He wasn't. Dustin Crum last week actually played very well. And you look at Crum's stats now, and obviously, he has improved his efficiency rating. At one point, it was down in the high 60s, low 70s. It's now up to 80.3. 2 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, 625 yards. You know what? Those aren't god awful numbers compared to a guy like Jeremiah Masoli that's 2 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, right? Wow. So, yeah, it's one of those things. If you're Ottawa, you do feel like you can win games with Dustin Crum a quarterback.
I have a gas ass.
Oh, I'm excited.
Nothing to do with this game, but anyway.
It's bumper time.
I honestly did not realize how bad Jeremiah Masoli's stats were until Jacob said it. So let's just say it here. Gas or ass, will Masoli be in the CFL next year?
No.
No.
I would say ass.
Gas. He won't be in the CFL next year.
Ass, yeah.
He won't be in the CFL next year. Unfortunately, I I think he's just proven that he's not as mobile as he used to be due to those multiple leg injuries.
Especially with the young talent like Dustin Clum we're going to see tonight. And mid-age tier quarterbacks like Cody Fajardo are still being
very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Unfortunately, I think this will be his last CFL season.
Heck of a nice guy, but
oh yeah, I know, Lane. You were never a big fan of Masoli though, even back when he was having success at Hamilton.
No, I wasn't the biggest fan. To be honest, to him as the start. I felt like Dane Evans was a better quarterback.
He was a super nice guy too. I thought it was such a little off topic here. Sorry, Jacob, but I thought it was such a weird system when Hamilton had Evans and Masoli together. It made no sense to me.
It's kind of like what Edmonton's been doing the last few years, always having someone else as a backup plan for Trey Ford. Now,
but they have those two Pacific guys in multiple years. I understand with Trey Ford the last year or so, you're going to have someone else because Trey Ford hasn't really stepped up to be comfortable enough to be a full-time starting quarterback for a year. I get that. But with Evans and Masoli, they were like A and B for like 3 or 4 seasons. And I never understood that.
But it's interesting though when I can't remember who it was now, Lane or Dan. You mentioned about Dustin Crum in the last game against Winnipeg. He did finish that game 11 for 17, 125, and a touchdown, no interceptions.
He looked great.
He actually played pretty well and gave Ottawa a chance.
I think it was Lane that mentioned that, but he looked great.
So I think you have to feel like if you're Ottawa, you have a chance with Dustin Crum at quarterback.
Yeah, I think Clum is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I really do. Everyone's going on about how great Trey Ford is, and I think Dustin Clum's better at this point in their careers.
It's not unreasonable to say that.
What?
I said you're not unreasonable to say that, Dan.
Yeah, I might get called out by some Edmonton fans out there, but I really think I felt that
wants to get ice cream with you.
What?
I said Keith Smith will probably not want to get ice cream with you now.
Yeah, probably not. No, so have Jacob.
The big Trey Ford fan.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I think this is a critical game for both teams. I almost think it's a little more critical for Edmonton just because of the path you got to go through to cross over to the east. You also got to get over BC, right? And you lost both games to BC. I think Edmonton almost has to go perfect to close out the year.
Yeah. But Jacob, don't you kind of feel like, yeah, you're right, in a way, obviously, but you could even make the argument it's big for Ottawa. I talked about the rage from last night, and I'm still not happy with it because it feels like Montreal just was like, oh, we don't want to win. You can have. It's like that thing. It's like you can have it, and it feels like Ottawa now's got to capitalize on that.
I do agree. I know this is obviously a huge game for the Ottawa Redblacks as well. It's a critical game. I feel for Edmonton, any loss is critical.
I think either way, we're going to see a good game tonight. I really do. Last night was not the best the CFL has to offer, unfortunately, but I think tonight we're going to have a good game.
We have 2 desperate teams. I mean, the good thing is air quality's looking good. Only 9-kilometer wind, so we shouldn't see the kicking game going out the door.
I'm just going to cry about it.
Not calling for any rain today. Good thing they're not playing tomorrow because they could get up to 10 millimeters of rain. Thank you for joining the weather report with the self-proclaimed sports analyst. But all I mean is here, you're looking at Ottawa, right? Like the weather's good. I think they're going to really try to run and pound the ball. I think between Crum, Anababoye, and William Standback, I think
could be a good crowd there tonight
on running the ball. I think that's got to be like what your game plan is. Although, if you're Ottawa, maybe you try to catch Edmonton napping and you set play action early and try to take a deep shot.
Why not?
Try to, get Eugene Lewis going a bit. Who, let's be honest, has had a quiet year for Eugene Lewis. I mean, not having their starting quarterback through half the year on and off has not been helping.
No.
Weather Network's just zooming into someone's hand. It just really threw me off guard because I had that on second. I don't know why you're doing that, Weather Network. But
to Lane's point in the past here in the island, Bob Dice is not really known for having balls. So,
oh boy,
I do agree, but I'm saying maybe this is where you try to catch Edmonton napping a little bit, because let's be honest, Eugene Lewis being 6th in the CFL for receiving behind Tyler Sneed and Keyshawn Johnson, that's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you're expecting him to be up there with Hatcher, Coxie, and Lawler, who are really leading the charge right now. Now, just for people's information, for Saturday's matchup, Dominic Coxie will not be playing Saturday, so he will not be able to pass Keon Hatcher. But I just think maybe this is a game you just try to get Eugene Lewis going, and maybe it's hitting some deep shots early. This Ottawa receiving core's got some talent, and so maybe you just try to hit this early. But I see Mr. Dashko wants to go back to the island's favorite segment, gas or ass. Fire away, Lane.
Well, I got a two-parter here. It's two gas or asses combined into one. Wow. The first one, will the Saskatchewan quarterback, what's his name? I'm trying to think of it.
Trevor Harris?
Trevor Harris.
Yeah. Well, Trevor Harris complained about the weather, even though he's not in the game. And second of all, will Bob Dice decide to throw another game for the Ottawa Redblacks?
Ouch, boy.
Well, I'm gonna say potential gas for Bob Dice making some critical errors again. That's gonna lose him a game. I actually think Mark Killam's a better coach, although it's taken him some time to get comfortable in Edmonton, and it's taken that Elks team some time to learn that system. Even before Edmonton went on this 3-game winning streak, you felt like when you watched the play on the field, they were going in the right direction. I unfortunately think Ottawa this year has gone in the wrong direction completely because you brought in some big pieces. You're not using them correctly. You don't use Dustin Crum's skill set correctly when he's in. I don't know why they're not running more RPOs where the quarterback can pull it. When Dustin Crum can be like a running back, maybe you got to try some trick plays like we've seen over the last couple of weeks between Montreal and Toronto, where you know what, maybe you throw both quarterbacks out there and you go Crum to Trey Adams and you try to take a deep shot on like a 1-2-3 pass.
Well, even Winnipeg had 2 quarterbacks in last night.
Well, that was not by choice.
I get that, but still happened.
Wide receivers, but Lane, I'm gonna say total gas on that. That I think Bob Dice could potentially make a critical error today that could cost Ottawa the game. Right now, Edmonton is the favorite going into this game, which I do agree with personally. I think Edmonton's a bit of a better team.
The reason I listened was
Cody Fajardo is truthful. I think if Cody Fajardo had been playing since the start of the year, you look at his numbers, you may be talking about him with Bo Levi Mitchell and Nathan Rourke and VA and Trevor Harris for MOP. Yeah. Exactly. Like, just because you look at Cody Fajardo, 7 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, efficiency rating of 115.9, completion percentage of 77.5. His completion percentage is higher than Trevor Harris's.
Is that nuts?
Like, I mean, you look, if Cody Fajardo, I still think if Cody Fajardo started from the beginning of the year, Edmonton would be making a much stronger push for the playoffs right now.
Oh, 100%.
That's why I do hope Edmonton fans hold out maybe one more year, because I think you finally found your quarterback, and I think his name is Cody Fajardo.
I think so.
It was not McLeod Bethel Thompson. Unfortunately, it's not Trey Ford. I like Trey Ford, but I don't. We've talked about this before, but I think Trey Ford, to have success, may need to go somewhere else. I think there's just been too much baggage in Edmonton.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's just my opinion on the whole matter. But I just feel that there's been too much baggage in Edmonton, and I think too, you could see the players have responded a lot better to Cody Fajardo.
Yeah.
Now Trey Ford wasn't terrible besides that one game. Like, he actually put up some decent numbers. You look here, 984 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, efficiency rating in 95.9. That's actually not that bad.
No, not.
But I mean, it's not that good either. He was kind of the
only backup numbers.
Honestly, Dan, you look at it though, there's only one starting quarterback who's in the 90s for efficiency rating, who was supposed to be a starter this year. And that's Zach Collaros. Zach Collaros at a 96, Trey Ford's at a 95.9. Like you look at Nick Arbuckle, for example, he's at 100.6 efficiency rating. Bo Levi Mitchell is at 106.8. Nathan Rourke, 110.4. Trevor Harris, 121.6. Vern Adams Jr., 106.9. Drew Brown, 108.6. Cody Fajardo, 115.9. Davis Alexander, 107. Like, unfortunately for Trey Ford, I think for what the standard is of a CFL starting quarterback, I don't think he quite met the criteria this year. But I do think he's got enough upside. If I was a team who was looking for maybe a starter in 2 years, I would go pick up Trey Ford and try to make it work. That's why I think he'd be a perfect fit in Winnipeg.
Well, the other option is we said in the island here, unfortunately, with Chad Kelly's injuries, and hopefully he's okay. Hopefully Chad Kelly's injuries and stuff, will he be a permanent solution in Toronto? We gamble on someone like Trey Ford if Chad Kelly's
honestly back. I think Toronto.
I would be happy with Nick Arbuckle.
I was going to say, I
love him.
Nick Arbuckle, in my opinion, has been more than good enough. Nick Arbuckle is putting up comparable numbers to Bo Levi Mitchell from last season. Bo Levi Mitchell won the Eastern MLP, right?
I've been a big fan of Nick Arbuckle for years. I remember back in the day when we had McLeod, Bethel Thompson, and Nick Arbuckle. I would have picked Nick Arbuckle over Bethel Thompson, which I probably will get laughed at now as Bethel Thompson won his 2 Grey Cups. But at the time, I really liked Nick Arbuckle. That's how much faith I had in him. He's just, I don't know how to put it. He's just a good guy. He's just, and you can tell, all his teammates and the locker room, they all love him, and I think that's really important in football culture, right?
I do agree with you, Dan. I think that is important, but I think that's why I think Edmonton is certainly moving on to Cody Fajardo, and I don't think this is like a 1-year fix. I think this might be a long-term decision for Edmonton. That, especially if Cody Fajardo can put together a 500 record as a starting quarterback this year.
How do you know those numbers, right? Like 77 completion rates, and
right now, Cody Fajardo, I think this year as a starter is 3-2. I believe he started in 5 games this year. So if he can continue that pace, I think Fajardo has to be your starter for the future because he's not that old. He's still young enough. I think he's still got probably another 3 years. So time will tell, obviously, but I mean, I think today is going to be a good game. I think these are 2 teams absolutely desperate for wins, and 2 teams, if you remember right, if we go back and look at the power rankings going into this week, Edmonton is slightly above, but they're both in that tier 3 level of between 3 and 6. That tier 2 level, between 3 and 6. So, I mean, you know what? You do feel this should be a relatively close game between these 2 teams. I know you were saying you don't think this is going to be a boring game.
No, I lost my head for a second, literally. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I really do. Now, I thought last game would be really good too because you can make the same argument that both Montreal and Winnipeg were desperate for wins. But I think these 2 teams are going to be even more desperate for wins. So, yeah, I think last game was a low-scoring affair. I believe the over-under for us was 48, and we definitely had under that with 26, 39 points. I think with this game, I think it's going to be higher. I think it's going to be yes. I don't know what the number you had for, Jacob. But
well, you know what? Let's go back over our Streakers predictions and Streakers props. Now with those Streakers props, we had the Fajardo 300 yards and 2 TDs.
Oh yeah.
Another one, Justin Hardy 69 yards. There you go, number 69, everyone's favorite. Justin Rankin combined 133 yards. That's in the air and on the ground. Dustin Crum 225 passing, 55 rushing, and a touchdown. And last but certainly not least, 51 points is for our
51.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah.
I definitely think we're going to hit over 51 in this game. I think
so too.
I think even with Crum, I do feel Ottawa can easily hit mid-20s.
I call 30. Ottawa's going to hit 30 tonight.
I don't think so. Not against this Edmonton defense. It's been playing really well of late. But let's get right into our picks on this one. Mr. Morfor, who are you taking tonight?
I love Ottawa as a team and a franchise. I feel so bad for TW Shades, a fan of the show, and a friend, of course. But I have to go with my other friend and fan of the show, Keith Smith here, and go with the Edmonton Elks tonight. I think Edmonton's they just got it together. I don't know how to say it. It's like what Jacob said. Cody Fajardo started beginning of the season. I think Edmonton would have been way up there of the other three best teams in the league. They just seem so more organized and put together and playing with confidence ever since Cody Fajardo got in there. Maybe the fact they have a rookie coach, they need a veteran quarterback, not as veteran quarterback, a veteran Grey Cup winning quarterback at Cody Fajardo, settle down the rookie coach. I don't know what the thing is, but since he came in, they just look like a completely different team. Ottawa, I find it's very up and down. We're not playing consistent all year. We're either winning or we're losing or terrible or we're winning, dominating. I mean, the fact that they came back from the Argos 22-1 was incredible, but then you see them another week and they play terrible. So I don't know. For those reasons, I'm going to go Edmonton.
I am also saying the Edmonton Elks. I think the Elks are just a better team than Ottawa is right now, and especially without Drew Brown. Like I said, I think Dustin Crum's a serviceable quarterback, but I think it's going to be closer than people expect. I think Ottawa will keep it within 10. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to go down to the wire, but I think at the end of the day that the Ottawa Redblacks will come up a little bit short and the Edmonton Elks will get the victory. So, Lane, what are you thinking when Dan drinks his overpriced Starbucks crap?
I think it's going to be the Edmonton Elks as well. I just feel like Cody Fajardo, like he said, they've really kind of got their act together. Cody Fajardo, you got to give him some credit. He's come in. He's really found this offense. He's kind of figured it out. Unfortunately, Trey Ford couldn't, but that doesn't mean his career is over. But unfortunately, he's just not ready to be a starting quarterback yet. And Cody Fajardo clearly is because, it took him a week or two to get it going. But ever since he's kind of figured out a game plan, it really feels like the Elks are on a different level. I think they're going to stay on this hot streak. And unfortunately, I do think they're going to pull off a big win against the Ottawa Redblacks.
So it's unanimous vote here on the panel on saying the Edmonton Elks will get the victory, which would put the Elks improving to 4-6 if they get that win.
Why?
That's the thing, right? They're 4-6. All of a sudden,
4-7,
you have Winnipeg that's 6-4. You're 4-6. If you're Edmonton, BC's 5-5. You're right back in this race. Crazy thing enough, with that win for Winnipeg, which I don't think it'll happen, but Winnipeg still has a path to get first in the West. So I think it's going to get very, very dicey, not Bob dicey, but very dicey standings in the West. And the East with Montreal, the way they're struggling, Davis Alexander looking like not going to be back. My earliest guess will be the week after Labor Day, maybe another week down the road. Montreal continues to struggle. Who knows, right? But what I know, it is time for us to skedaddle and watch this incredible game. We will be back.
Eat some pizza.
For a post-game show. And as a quick reminder, too, the Toronto Blue Jays are in action today with Mr. Bieber getting in there for his first start since April of 2014. The Jays are currently up 3-0 after the bottom of the first.
Yeah.
With hits, with a home run from Bo Bichette and not a home run from Bo Bichette, but a hit and a run brought in from Bichette. Varsho with a hit and a run, and Ty France with a hit, bringing in 2 RBIs. Nice. So, and Bieber's already got a strikeout. So the first batter he faced was a strikeout. So maybe this is a sign for the Toronto Blue Jays for today, taking on Miami, who, 60-67. They're under 500, but I don't think they're an absolute dog poop of a team. But we will be back for a post-game show. We'll talk CFL. We'll talk more about the Jays game. Quick other note on the Jays. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. is not in the lineup like he was expected to be. He is still out with hamstring tightness. I actually think the Jays are doing the right thing by resting him.
I do too, yeah.
Maybe Lane will be away from the island bunker and he'll join us with showing his beautiful face. That's so seductive. And for the post-game. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We will. Bieber just got his second strikeout of the game already. So
yeah,
we have a roll here, folks. But we got to go. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the post-game show.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Lane is waving emotionally. Oh my gosh, it's Lane!